Hey guys, welcome to this video. We're playing Planet Zoo today. We started on this habitat yesterday, but there's some things that I want to change. It isn't great yet because it's such a large habitat. I think that it needs more like things in it to kind of fill the space and break up a lot of the lines and a lot of the sight lines. Like the space is so large and the animals like are so small in comparison. And then I think the monkeys definitely need to get pulled out. They're doing fine in there, but I think that there's no way that you would ever be able to see them, A, because they're spending all their time in the barn, and B, because they're just so little in that huge space. So those are a couple of the things that I think need to be changed. I think if I can find some more animals to kind of like tuck in there and just add a little bit more life to the space, I can. But I kind of like how it's all South American animals in there right now. So I don't necessarily want to change that aspect. But I am going to go ahead and pull out all the capuchin monkeys. And we're just going to put those in the trade center and we'll do something with them soon. And then for now, we're just going to focus on everybody else that's currently living in here. So, each of these stalls, I'm going to clean them all out. And we're just going to kind of start over with a few spaces. So, there's lots of feed pans and beds in each of these stalls, and I think that that's perfect. I'm also going to try and find where our fencing ends, and I'm going to try and expand it into these other stalls. So we can see that we have access, like the habitat is currently accessible through all of these stalls. So I think this door, I'm going to split from the group. And we're going to see if this maybe will just open the barn door. And we'll do the same thing on this side. So now we've done that. We've got this door here. Well, that's pretty solid. There's a solid wall behind that, but there is... Oh, and there's even an airlock here. That's awesome. Very appropriate. I love it. This door, we're gonna pivot. We'll pivot it open. So you can see how this door is a very large, sturdy door, but it also has a wheel on it, which is helpful. So the weight of the door is resting on that wheel. So when you swing it this way and that, you're not really putting too much stress on these hinges. And then this one has a wheel on it as well, but I think I'm going to treat this door more as a sliding stall. Because I think just space-wise, this is going to make a little bit more sense for us. So those two stall doors are going to be open, and they're going to have access to these outside stalls from now on. This stall they do not have access to, but the first three they do. So I have not put anything in for the llamas or the alpacas yet. So let's do alpaca. And we're just gonna kind of put a few things in each of these stalls. We're not gonna go crazy, but we're gonna make it so that if an animal wants to get a drink in the barn, they can get a drink in the barn. Then we'll put a hay feeder in this stall. So just a little bit of enrichment and feed here in the barn so the animals feel nice and comfortable in there. And then this fence line, I'm gonna edit. Because if this was kind of like a runway situation, we would keep this runway nice and tight up against the barn. And I hear protesters for some reason. Who are you here for? Ah, yes. This fellow? Yes, I would love to have him put somewhere. Poor guy. Starving and dehydrated. Me on an average day. Okay, and these are saying that they cannot be reached. Probably because I have this stall door shut. I'm just gonna slide that bad boy just for fun. There's no path to the destination for him, so we're just gonna pop him over. We'll pop him into the tortoise exhibit, and then we'll just immediately send him to the trade center. Okay, there he goes. Okay. So he's at least in the trade center. He's still going to be like hungry and thirsty when he comes back out, but he is at least safe. Okay. I'm going to get us a couple more caretakers. Clean up these pathways. They're a bit messy. Okay, and then I am gonna take this tool kind of through the exhibit And I am gonna just clean it back up. We're just gonna start with a bit of a clean slate because I think it could use a little bit better design work than I was giving it yesterday. I think I could give it a little bit more zhuzh. This middle section, I'm okay with it. For now, I think I'm gonna focus on this back hill. It looks like we're gonna have some baby llamas, so that'll be really cute. And then I hear that the Anteater is gonna have cubs, kits, young. What are baby Anteaters called? One male cub. Very cute. How many anteaters can we have in an exhibit? Giant anteaters. Just this group. Okay. Cool. Where did I get these? Oh, where did you come from? That might really mess up our group social structure, but we'll take the chance. So I'm trying to take this little scenery and I'd like to seed it kind of at an angle in the habitat like this so that it can cover this hill without being, you know, too conspicuous. So we have to do that by rotating the entire selection kind of to the angle of the hill. And so we get some nice coverage that way, some very nice coverage. Hello! How are you guys? Thanks for coming. Oh, that's so nice. You guys are my first raid ever. That's so sweet. Thanks for being here. What am I working on? I am working on a large mixed species habitat. So I'm doing all South American animals in here. Thank you for following. Oh my goodness. I've got giant anteaters, llamas, alpacas, capybara, and I did have a few other animals, but I'm kind of exploiting a couple of game mechanics in here just a little bit. Technically, this walking path is completely within the exhibit. So certain animals like a tapir, I cannot put in this exhibit because guests get afraid and then they run and they leave the entire exhibit, which is not exactly what I would like. I would prefer social stress. Okay, he's fine. He'll figure it out. I would prefer to have as many animals in here as possible because it's such a large space. It feels kind of empty. So right now I'm trying really hard to kind of fill up the space and make it look like it's very alive and dynamic without having to add too many more animals. If I could figure out how to do it, I would have like just a monkey island kind of situation here in the middle. But the monkeys wanted to spend all their time climbing in the barn, so struggle. And then I just opened it up so that all of these outside stalls are accessible from the habitat. So yeah. That's kind of the gist of it. Maned wolf. I bought some maned wolves to go in here, but unfortunately guests run from maned wolf. So I have to check each line here for guest interaction. So like guests flee from, guests flee, guests can enter habitat. Even on the ones where they can enter habitat, or they can't enter the habitat, but they can't interact with, I'll do either one, because as long as they're not scared of each other, it works out pretty well. Yeah, even though they do mainly eat fruit, yeah. They are kind of intimidating, especially when you see them in real life. At my last job where I worked, we had them, and when we would get there first thing in the morning and it was really dark, sometimes like right when the sun was coming up, you could hear them vocalizing. And a maned wolf, when it vocalizes, it's called a roar bark, because it's not a bark and it's not a howl and it's not a roar. It's like if, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I mean, roar bark is a very good description, but um if you've never heard it before, it's you really don't really know what it is until you actually see them do it. They're really fun. I've participated in some training sessions with them before, and they really love grapes, and so getting to kind of like lob a grape at them and they catch it in midair, it's so cute. But it can be intimidating for sure. Because they're so tall. Like they look like foxes, which we're really used to, but they're just so long. Why are there protesters here? I can hear them. You. What's wrong with you? Why are you stuck there? Silly goose. Oh my gosh, we had llamas just on the path there, hopping over. Tell me where you can go. Yeah, so I was a zookeeper for several years. My current position is not specifically zookeeping. I do work at a zoo still, but I work in animal nutrition. So very like the same field. I'm working in the same areas as the zookeepers, but in this specific role, I'm not actively like taking care of the animals. But I did for, I think at my last position, I was there for 5 years. Um, and I did, oh gosh, I did a lot of different things before I settled on one area that I was in for about 3 years. I settled in a domestic farms, how did we call it? Heritage breed area. So there was somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 animals, and they were all domestic, but they were critically endangered. So, for example, if you've ever heard of the American Cream Draft Horse, the Scotch Highland Cow, a lot of the animals that they've recently added into Planet Zoo in the farms kind of pack, some of those fall into that heritage breed category. Let me think. Dutch belted cattle. We had piney woods cattle. We had water buffalo, yak, dromedary camels. We had donkeys. We had Poitou donkeys, which is the rarest equine in the world. In the U.S., there's less than 100. They're super, super rare. And when an animal gets that rare, their genetics can get really, bottlenecked and really muddled up, which is not great. So the Poitou donkeys in particular, they're trying to bring in genetic material from France to try and help with that. Florida cracker horses. Yes, those are endangered. They're pretty rare. There's the Florida cracker horses and the Florida cracker cows. I think it's so cool that they have the same name because they were developed in the same area. But yes, that's kind of the concept. That's where I used to work, or most recently where I worked. In the position I do now, I do a lot of diet prep, and I do a lot of purchasing and budgeting and inventory work, plus like constantly being in contact with zookeepers because everybody always needs something, and like somebody's animal isn't feeling well, so they need like raspberries or strawberries to try and coax that animal to take its meds. Somebody always needs, a different kind of fish or more hay or more straw. We have so many different kinds of fish. It's hard to keep the freezers stocked. Like purchasing fish, you can't just like go out and buy it. You have to order pallets and trucks worth of fish. And so then you need a freezer that can hold pallets and trucks worth of fish. And you kind of don't want to pay for the shipping to have a semi truck show up, more than every few months. So inventory is really important. Inventory management. And then during the summer, we have moose, which is kind of a rare animal to have in captivity. And they can eat so much leafy material, so much browse, that is pretty much my entire job 6 months out of the year is to be cutting browse out in the community, out in the parks, working with the county parks and the city parks and local tree trimmers and all those kinds of people, and just trying to get as much material as we possibly can for those guys to eat. Our big male that we have, he can eat basically a truckload of browse every single day. That's awesome. I really like when people will build true to life stuff here in Planet Zoo. Like, it's something that I'm really trying to work on. So when I first started this stream, like several episodes ago, like several streams ago, and I had my African leopard habitat here, it was literally just like a box to get the leopards in the zoo, to get people coming, to get enough money that I could build these way nicer, more like true to life accurate habitats. Oh, for sure. For sure. Right now, the bears at my zoo are eating me out of house and home. Like, my budget is so crazy this time of year. 2 black bears, they're eating 24 heads of lettuce every day. And that's an entire box. So not only am I buying enough lettuce to feed the primates and the Malayan tapir and the whoever and this and that, all these different animals, I have to buy an entire box, like a case of bulk greens just for the black bear every day. Because it's fall and they're bulking up and getting ready to go to sleep. But yeah, so I think that building a freezer is amazing. I have plans, I think, to build a commissary of some kind here. Right now, I'm kind of treating this like my commissary. Commissary, if you don't know, is kind of like the word that zoos often use for their diet kitchen. Some call it a diet kitchen, some call it a nutrition center, some call it a commissary. Just kind of like all those different, those names kind of mean the same thing. And so that's kind of what I'm treating that as, because in Planet Zoo there's a lot of real, like, true to life aspects that aren't super well represented. So I'm trying my best, like, even though it's not, I have to build it from scratch. Kind of like these cat holding spaces, like I had to build it from scratch because it just doesn't really exist, but this is what a cat holding might maybe look like. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Backstage of zoos, some of them are super interesting if you go in, and they were built more than, like, say, 15 years ago. They look very different to what they are now. And, like, visiting other zoos that were built 50, 70, 80, 100 years ago, I think that the Philadelphia Zoo is the oldest zoo in the US, and I think that it is well over 100 years old at this point. So those buildings and like Central Park Zoo and in Brook, what is it called? Bronx, the Bronx. They have like their old historic buildings that they used to keep monkeys in. That is very like not appropriate to keep primates in now. And so they have it filled with like tortoises and stuff, which is a great solution when you have this historic building that you don't want to tear down. But it's just not, it's not adequate for what it used to hold. That's really cool. I have been to the Denver Zoo a couple years ago, I think. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I went there on my honeymoon, like on my trip to Colorado. Yeah. Yeah, some zoo habitats age really, really poorly. I think that it's definitely not for lack of those zoos. Excuse me. It's not for lack of trying. It's just like at this point, tearing down an old exhibit and building a new one costs so much money. Like it costs millions and millions of dollars, and it takes so long to fundraise that building new exhibits just takes for like updating old exhibits takes so long, that it's just easier to kind of renovate and switch species. But um, yes, I've been to Denver. I really did enjoy it. If I'm remembering correctly, Denver had a hospital that you could actually like look in and see procedures and surgeries and stuff, and I think that's really cool. Every time I go to a zoo like that, I never see any surgeries happening though, which is kind of kind of disappointing. I mean, it's good that they don't have to do that many surgeries, but yes, I've seen jaguar habitats be made for coati. Um, all kinds of different bear habitats get refurbished all the time. Because it used to be pretty common to build kind of like pits to keep your bears in, which is not common practice anymore. I think it's more acceptable for those like pit type of situations to get refurbished to be more of like pools and like penguins, or I've seen a lot of birds be put in those large reptiles. I've seen a lot of old monkey cages and a lot of old cat cages that were just like boxes, and they get redone and kind of revamped, and small mammals are put in there like fennec foxes and parrots and things like that. Oh, the Birmingham Zoo. I've never been to that one, in Alabama. I don't think I've been to Alabama yet. A very good friend of mine that I work with, that I used to work with at my last zoo, she's from Alabama, and she has been to the Birmingham Zoo. She's told me a little bit about it, um, but I have not personally been yet. Ugh, excuse me. Oh boy. Okay, we got some problems here. Where is my crimes? Okay, hopefully that fixes most of that issue. Okay, so this whole area now isn't very traversable by some animals, but it is at least kind of like filling up the space. And I've got a lot of enrichment here in the middle, and a little bit, I'm going to put a little more enrichment maybe in this corner and over in this corner, because a lot of the food and the beds are in the barn. So the animals are doing a lot of running back and forth between the barn and the habitat, which I like. So now I just need to make sure that there's something for each animal out on habitat that brings them out on a regular basis. Because I would love for animals to be always visible from this loop, and I think that, yes. Yeah, I think this is looking great. I've heard a lot about their elephant habitat in Birmingham. I used to work at the zoo in Kansas, in Wichita, and we had a bull elephant from Birmingham go to try and breed those girls. What was his name? Ajani. And he was a dud. No sperm. Took it. I think they gave him 2 years, and he could not get anything done. And so then they brought in the bull from Omaha, and he got it done on his like first week. He got introduced to the girls, and he got 5 girls pregnant. And that was 2 years ago. So now they've had all their little baby elephants born, which to me is a little concerning because Callie is the name of the Omaha bull. He's now the father of every single baby elephant at Omaha and every single baby elephant at Sedgwick in Wichita. So, I mean, the elephant population is just all related to Callie. So he really shouldn't be the father of any more calves. I think we need to do a little bit more breeding around, but not my pig, not my farm. I've got other problems now. I've got other things I'm dealing with. The price of produce has gone up significantly. I'm sure you guys have seen. The U.S. is not the best place to be trying to buy healthy food anymore. Yes, yeah, so that was the reason. I think he ended up going back to Birmingham. I don't think he stayed long at Sedgwick, but I mean, it's not his like fault. I mean, he just, didn't have it in him. So it's not his fault. He was a good elephant from what I hear, but just one of those things, unfortunately. I'm sure they'll figure it out. It just takes a long time with elephants, because their breeding cycle is, 15 years from the time that they are conceived. They have 2 years till they're born, and then they have, 10 or 15 years until they're mature and then moved to another facility where they can breed. It's just rough. Oh, nice. Are there a lot of jaguars at Birmingham, or I suppose I don't know if I've ever seen a jaguar in real life, personally. They're absolutely gorgeous, though. When I see the videos of them and stuff, I love it because they're just so beefy, compared to leopards. They're just thick cats. Okay. probably going to expect babies then in the next couple of years. That'll be so fun. Baby cats and breeding cats can be really scary. Breeding them can be scary, but once you have the babies, they're just like the best. I got to see baby leopards, baby Amur leopards at Cheyenne Mountain several years ago, and they were just like playing all over the exhibit, just having like the best time. I loved it so much. Yeah, I bet they were. Well, I hope he is happy wherever he went and whoever he is with. Hopefully that'll be successful. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a common thing, you know, and I don't know how common it is in the wild. I'm sure it's not as common, but like lions live a pretty violent life, male lions, and like I don't know if we really hear reports about female lions getting killed by male lions, like, you know, say in Africa, but I mean, they're killing each other, like the males are killing each other often. And unfortunately, just like when you're trying to introduce them in captivity, they're, you know, they can't really get away from each other too easily. Like they try and do it really, really carefully. But like, for example, my husband tells me like when they were trying to intro tigers, that they had fire extinguishers and like fire hoses and air horns and like all these different things that if the two animals decided they did not want to be together anymore and they started to fight, like they could try and break up the fight and separate them as fast as possible. And hold on, where's my aquatic? There it is. Yeah, a lot of people will blame, you know, one cat or the other, but I mean, ultimately, everyone's just doing their best, and the cats do what cats do. And even with social cats like lions, I mean, tigers and pretty much every other cat ever is a solitary animal. And so when we try and put them together in captivity and say, no, you can't leave, you have to take this one as a mate, you know, they're not particularly happy about it all the time. Sometimes it works out amazing and there's no issues. But, you know, you can't be mad at animals for doing animal things. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's hard too if your only good introduction space is public. Like, and you have to do it while the animals are on exhibit because, you know, that can go south really quickly. And then people are taking pictures and videos and, you know, it's just very distracting for the animals then to also have guests yelling and you know, asking questions. It's distracting to the keepers who are trying to make sure the animals are safe. And so it's better to do it behind the scenes, but you don't always have a good place to do it because then, you know, you're risking a lot more you're being a lot more confined of a location. So a lot of facilities build cat exhibits for exhibiting cats. A lot of places don't build habitats for breeding cats. And I think that a lot of, like, one of the bigger issues too is like you say you successfully breed, you know, your jaguars or your leopards or whatever, and you have 3 holding spaces and 1 exhibit and 1 outdoor habitat that is off exhibit. That's 5 total spaces. You always need to have at least 1 accessible. So then you know what, you have a male jaguar in 1 and you have the mom in 1, and then you have, say you have 2 adult male cubs then that were born. So now you've got 4 adult cats that cannot be in the same space as each other. Like, you're full. You can't breed anymore, and you have to send out some cats before you can, you know, do anything else. That's really cool. Do you, let me see if I can follow you from here. I don't think so. Maybe I can do it from the browser window. Yes. Okay, alright. I will have to come check out your streams and stuff sometime if you're gonna be building. I think that Planet Zoo really opens up for and gives people a really nice canvas to just kind of build things that they see in real life, but then can also be either improved upon or changed. So I really enjoy seeing what other people come up with. I really like going on the workshop on Steam and downloading stuff because I struggle. Attention to detail and patience are something that like I need help with, specifically in this game. Like sometimes I just want to like do the things and see the baby animals and just sit and watch the animals play. Like I don't even necessarily care what it looks like. So that's kind of something that I'm working on, like with the streaming of this forces me to kind of slow down, make it pretty, you know, make it something that I'm proud of, make it something that is a good representation of my field, and that I would be happy to, you know, share with people. So that's kind of one of my motivations for streaming is to help me. Awesome. Perfect. I look forward to it. I'm not like super active. Like I have a lot of people get in my stream and be like, I could totally, you know, build you you know, all the different graphics and whatever that you know, to be a professional streamer. And I'm like, dude, this is my Saturday morning. Like I'm just hanging out, and if I play this video game by myself, I do it poorly. Oop, wait. Who are you? Who are you? Do I want that? Okay. So I was line breeding these moose on purpose. So like Zoe is RJ's daughter who had then together inbred already. They had her, Waynette. So now if I breed Waynette to him again, that is 3 generations in a row of him being the father, the grandfather, and I think the great-grandfather then. So I will let it happen one time, and we'll just see what happens. I'm sure that that child will be... Oh, her fertility... No, okay, we can't do it. Her fertility's already at 18%, so there's no way that it would even be possible. I think we're probably just going to go ahead and release her to the wild. There's no need. Yeah, get out of here. Later. Oh, we have so much that's happened. Somewhere in here we have baby llamas. Where is your child? Right there, probably. Yeah, right there. Zoe. She's due again. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to breed for the coat color for the albino. moose, but, you know, if it doesn't happen in this one, I'll get them later. Oh, we had a clutch of tortoises mature. We had a baby alpaca. We will have baby alpaca. Let's check on these tortoise clutches. Usually if I'm going to breed for color, I'll do it in a separate file where I'm able to do it on a larger scale and just get it done quickly. Because the quicker I think that you can get it done, then the healthier that they stay, because you can then, you just have so much, you know, volume to look at. You can kind of just sort through and then save your healthiest ones and then rebreed them either to the base coat or to each other if they're healthy enough, and then you can get, you know, whatever color you want. So in that file I'm doing like, I think I'm doing timber wolves right now. Not that I can't do multiple at a time, but you just can't do too much at one time. Otherwise you get distracted and it's a thing and it's a problem. Okay. Of these adult, newly adult tortoises, got a lot of girls. I will send a couple of the girls away. Oh, another baby llama. Okay, I believe I've solved most of our traversable area problems. They do have a lot of color options. I think that's really, I really like how Planet Zoo has added that to the development. Rather than just having, you know, base coat and then one either albino or melanistic. I like that they've added 3 or 4 different colors, plus melanism, plus albinism. I like that now there's like the blonde options. I'm really here for it. Okay, so I am currently happy with this habitat. I think that there's plenty of action on one side of the path or the other, on both sides of the loop. I think there's something happening everywhere. I don't feel like I need to add anything. The only thing really that I can add that gets along with all these guys is the Galapagos tortoises, and those guys would just be stressed out the entire time. So I think right now I'm going to pivot from habitat to the humans. I'm going to move towards education, and let's see. This board I downloaded from the Steam. I don't know which direction it needs to be. I think this way. No power. Awesome. Just kidding then. We won't put it there. Okay, we don't have any power in this whole leg. And it won't let me put it in the habitat? You silly? Yeah, it will. Sure it will. I just can't put it in water. So now the question is, can the maintenance workers repair it if it lives in the habitat? This is a question we are going to attempt to answer in this presentation today. Let's try. Where is he? He's here. Where are you going? Where are you going? He's kind of just like walking normally, like he doesn't really care, which makes me think that maybe he can't get to this. Oh, your dad's an architect. That's super cool. My favorite and least favorite animals to work with. Are you talking about in the game or in real life? Because those are different. Yes, okay, so in real life, my least favorite would have to be just generally most primates. Primates are gross. They're icky. They can give you so many diseases. I think that the people that work with them love them. Like, the people that love them, and the people that don't. And I don't, unfortunately. I don't want to spread any primate hate. I also would never work with elephants. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. I think I've worked in the vicinity of llamas. I've never directly worked with llamas, but llamas are a challenge for sure. I have never... All the animals that I have worked with, I've liked. But if I didn't think that I would enjoy it, I just don't apply for those jobs, you know? So, like, I know I've applied for elephants and interviewed for elephants before, but I do not want to do elephants again. Like, not my thing. They're scary. They're too smart. Let me see. I liked Malayan tapirs. Those were my favorite. Like, my favorite animal that I've gotten to, like, physically be the person to care for them. I loved them. The zebras were a lot of fun. The rhinos were good fun. The hippos were awesome. I really loved my sheep. When I was at the farms, I took care of a lot of sheep and goats, and there was like certain individuals that I was training and working with, and there was one sheep in particular that he was my buddy, and he got trained to be an animal ambassador. What is this? Widget control. Speed control. Oh, widget. I thought maybe it was wind. Never mind. Yeah, that one sheep in particular is my favorite, but that flock of sheep, the Navajo Churro sheep, and the Arapawa Island goats, really love them. So much so that now that I've left that job, I will be getting my own sheep to have on my property someday. The bigger issue is getting the property than it is getting the sheep. But I'm looking forward to it. Someday it will happen. Someday very soon, hopefully. It will happen for me. Big tortoises. Awesome. Do you work in a zoo setting, or like with those tortoises, do you work more in like the pet realm? Like, aldabras are big. I don't think you can own those privately, but Gulf Coast sheep are nice, yeah. I really would do any kind of sheep, but I would love to be able to get the same like group of sheep that I took care of because they're endangered, they'll breed them and sell them to private breeders. So I really would love to be able to get some of the sheep that were born from the flock that I used to take care of. You volunteered. Right. Okay, I forgot about that. Awesome. We love zoo volunteers. I loved all my volunteers. They were the best. I still have volunteers, actually. My volunteers now are good too, but we just do, we don't do animal care direct things. We do a lot of food things. mm. I had a corn snake for a while. I think people who keep reptiles at their house, it takes a certain like kind of pet owner, like anyone can have a cat or a dog. Like anyone can have a cat. Not everyone can have a dog. Um, but having reptiles is super super interesting to see the different kinds of people that'll get that. Like a friend of mine, she got a snake because it was like cool. She got a snake because it was cool. And then once she got it, you kind of turn into the other type of reptile person where it's like, well, now I need to get a bioactive enclosure, and I need to make sure, all these different like enrichment and climbing and all these things. Like you learn a lot more and you adapt a lot more when you own reptiles, where I think I'm sorry, why is your head picture black, but you're spotted and black? Explain this to me. Black shaggy wool, and you're not fertile at all. Where'd you come from? Huh. Aldabra tortoises are so fun. Yeah, they're pretty smart. Okay, what was I doing? I was putting in power. So that I could put in other things. These things. This. This is what I wanted. Okay, we're gonna do alpacas. And down here we'll do llama. And right here we'll do the anteater. Yeah, that would be fun to have a tortoise at home. I think that having a pet tortoise, I think, would be more fun than having a pet turtle, personally. Turtles are like, kind of wet and stinky. I know several people who either have like box turtles, which are not, like your aquatic turtle, or tortoises, and they'll keep them, they'll like take them to the park and spend, an afternoon at the park. They'll like get like put out the blanket and take their tortoise out for a walk and let him go eat grass in the park. I think it's so fun. So cute. Kind of like the ideal dog. It's like a dog you don't have to take for a walk, but you can take to the park if you want. And that's not dog hate. That is not dog slander. I have had dogs, but I don't want a dog right now because I don't want to have to go for walks. Oops, that is not on the public pathway. It is illegal in some states. Yeah, you got to be careful when you're grabbing stuff off the street or buying things at the pet store. Sometimes they're not legal to have, which is crazy. Oopsie. Okay, I like these best when they're in like groups of 3. I think they look better that way. I fully support getting turtles as pets. I think that that's awesome. Now the bigger question then is what do you name a pet turtle or a pet tortoise, you know? Like, very important questions to think about. Ha! That's awesome. That's what I name all of my horses in Red Dead 2. All of my horses in Red Dead 2 for this current file that I'm on are named after House of the Dragon dragons. But a turtle, you'd probably have to name them... Yeah, dragons wouldn't necessarily fit. Could name them after, like, mountains or something. Mythic or fictional fantasy, like mountains or castles or stuff like that. Okay, we've had a baby alpaca recently. Baby newts. Several baby newts. So, cash flow wise, once we made it up to the $400,000 range, we've kind of held steady. We have not really increased our profit at all. So the next time we start adding a bunch of people, more staff, I think we're probably going to have to either increase the price of coming in or something else is going to have to change. Seems like we need another security guard and we need another educator. Both those parties are seeming a little stressed. And I'm going to add 2 educators because I'm going to add more keeper talks here in a second. I do not have the butterflies yet. I was finding that the butterflies were like overpopulating and really messing me up. Just like they filled everything up so fast, and they really were messing with me because they bred so often, I had so many notifications coming through about breeding that I kind of got sick of it. And I try to turn those things off, but sometimes it just, those settings of, hey, don't notify me of this, they don't always work. At least for me, for some reason. And I get a little overflowed, a little overstimulated. Okay, let's have 4 keeper talks. Why not? We'll do alpaca. And we'll do capybara, because that animal doesn't live here. Giant anteater. And llama. Yeah, I might have to, if I do them again, I'll definitely have to use those settings. I really like using those walkthrough habitats for bats. I think I want to try the sloth. I've not done the sloth yet, but I really liked the bats when I did those before. That's super, super cool. I love that. When I was in college, I interned in the butterfly gardens at the zoo. Because they were the only ones that would take me. But I learned a lot there about insects and about interacting with the public and doing keeper chats and stuff, because we had to be present in the butterfly house all day long. Like, if the butterfly house was open, we had to be there. So that was definitely a really good learning experience for me. What? Say what? Hold on. What? Prove it. I know I've got one. I've got them in here, do I not? No. Okay, they're here. Okay, alright. Now you're talking sense. Alright. No, okay, alright. I'm with you now. Great idea. I love it. Another brown baby. January, we'll make this February, January, February, March, April, May, June, September. Do we have a September? There we go. Spread it out a little bit. You know, we can't have them all going on at once. That'd be no good. Gotcha. Yeah. I've been to lorikeet aviaries before, and I think that they're really just there to raise money, you know, for the people that pay $2 or $3 for those little feeder sticks. I don't know if lories actually have any conservation value, other than the fact that they're very abundant little parrots that can be good like ambassadors for other more endangered parrots. I don't know if the lorikeets themselves are actually the problem, you know? But I definitely have fun when I go feed them. Alright. What do we want to do next time? Oh, wait. I wanted to add some vending machines to this area. Because there's no bathrooms in here, and there's not really a good way for me to add bathrooms, but I can add vending machines. So I don't want people to be thirsty. Can you imagine a French fry vending machine? That's crazy. I have seen a pizza vending machine before. Okay, and then here we got ATM. Oh shoot, did I put any of these guys? Yeah. Ugh, damn. I did an interview to work with cockatoos one time. I went to Arizona and I did a working interview at a parrot sanctuary, like a parrot rescue. And so I got to work with some cockatoos and African gray parrots and macaws and all kinds of crazy stuff. For, I think it was maybe a weekend or so, we went and did that. A super fun place. That's kind of where I learned that I was not a good bird keeper. I was not a bird person. Did not want to be there. I would do birds over primates, maybe. Or maybe I wouldn't, you know, like I'm kind of, you know, small primates like marmosets and like little primates. I kind of do like those guys. Microwave grilled cheese vending machine. Does the vending machine microwave the grilled cheese, or do you have to take the grilled cheese out of the vending machine and then go microwave it? You know? Okay. Large birds. Okay, so raptors are different. Like those real, like ostriches, rheas, cassowary, those are different, I think. Like parrots are, I don't like them. Like I don't want. Okay, so I like them. I don't want to. I don't want to be the zookeeper for them. But cassowaries and big birds like that, those are way different. Like very different way that you take care of them. Those they need like a habitat. A parrot, like it can be anywhere from a large cage to a habitat. Like it could be all kinds of different things. I think that the bigger the bird, the easier it is for me to kind of wrap my head around it. I had to spend some time with an emu one time when I was taking care of wallabies. I was the wallaby keeper, and there was an emu that lived with the wallabies, but the bird keepers came and took care of the emu. So I did spend some time with her, and I really did like her a lot. So I say birds. Songbirds, little frugivore birds, little what's the group of all those itty bitty tropical birds. Like I don't want to spend all my time, using nets to catch birds. Like if I'm gonna take care of a bird, I want it to be a bird that I can like shift into a barn, like those raptors or the big eagles and owls and hawks and stuff. Those are super, super cool. I love them. I loved my chickens. I've had backyard chickens a couple times, and I really loved those guys. They were my buds. I've named a lot of my Stardew Valley chickens in my current Stardew Valley playthrough after them. I loved them a lot. Okay, I'm going to call that exhibit over there done. I think that adding the vending machines and adding the donation bins has increased profits. I can already see the money coming in a little faster. That's good. Our ongoing expenses are going up as well. Secretary birds are really, really pretty. I do love them. I love them a lot more when I don't have to take care of them. When they're not my responsibility. There it is. That's what I'm looking for here. I just want to make sure we don't have any animals in here that we need to be researching. Okay, what animals should we do next? I don't want to do any cold animals because I don't really want to do the air conditioning. I also don't particularly want to do any specifically African, like classic African exhibits. I think maybe like a camel Somali wild ass addicts exhibit would be nice, like more of a desert African exhibit. I think that an African savanna exhibit is, one, it's overdone. Two, this zoo is located in Africa, so it's like, do we need to necessarily display it? To that, this can't be an exclusively African animal zoo. Like this, the point of a zoo is to see things from all around the world, not just where you live. Like, I love seeing the animals at my zoo that are local, quote unquote, local to my area. I suppose not everyone in Africa has access to, elephants and whatever, but I think that the savanna exhibits are much more popular than the desert exhibits. So if I'm going to do an African exhibit from here on, I think I'd like to do the desert one because we already have the African spurred tortoise, the hippopotamus, the African leopard. We've already got some Africa savanna stuff going on. So I want to pivot from that if we do African critters. I think I'm messing up